peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good afternoon, viewers. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa television broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya in the general headquarters in Nairobi. Is Miriam Ogut. Good afternoon. Thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are in the world. We want to thank you for your patronage, for viewing Africa, Pan-African station, the station that talks about Africa. Punchline Africa television is there to cater for African views. It's there to look at Africa. What ails Africa? What kills Africa? Why are we always the talk of the world? Everywhere you go, there is a problem. Are we a problem, or the problems are brought on us? We have a series of topics. This show is Africa Showdown. It's an Africa Showdown. We clean the whole Africa, but we take samples from the regions. For example, in North, we can take Sudan, we can take Egypt, Libya. But today, our topics are narrowed down. And as Miriam in the general headquarters will read them to us, we have narrowed down on a number of topics that we feel this week, Africa needs to be talked about. We shall look at the economy, the politics, the social life. We shall not hide anything that is wrong with us. And whatever is also wrong with the people who come to us for investment, investments, politics, and a regime change. As you are aware, there are still a lot of regime change mechanisms that are still moving around Africa, hovering over Africa. Are we safe? That is Punchline Africa TV, all the way from the political command center in London, back to Nairobi General Headquarters. Miriam, to take us through the topics. Thank you very much, and introduce the panel. And the panel today, maybe let me do the quick introduction. Panel, we have the panel of Musa Haji, Abdi Haji from Isiolo in Kenya. We have the panel of Professor Gerard Onyari. Thank you very much. Welcome back, my colleague, Professor Gerard Onyari is of course beyond me on the question of status as far as rankings are concerned. Say welcome back from all what you have gone through, and may Almighty God keep your hand until we have tea again. Thank you very much. In the studio again, in the command center of the Punchline itself, near Miriam, in the headquarters, we have one Sean Wesonga. Daniel Wesonga, thank you very much. He's the man behind the radio. Don't forget, this station has also a radio station, and we are linking up with another radio station in Africa. So we shall be very high on the topic. Don't worry about it. It is going to go straight to the waves of South Africa, of Zimbabwe, Maputo, Malawi. They will be listening to you very shortly in the coming weeks. My brother, we don't thank you for the good work. I don't sleep. I will make an empire one time. Thank you very much. Across in Meru, we have none other than Douglas Bidi Kirimi himself, the deadly destroyer man. Thank you very much. Welcome to the destroying planet, the planet that does not carry prisoners. Thank you very much. And welcome to the show this afternoon. And down in Nanyuki in Kenya again, we welcome many other people who want to view us, who want to contribute. Don't insult from behind your email or behind your account. Just come on top and say, this is how you should conduct these affairs. We are welcome. We shall welcome all ideas. Thank you very much. That is Javani Karanja from Nanyuki. He's a veteran journalist. He speaks it as it is. And he's a very tactical man. When he's about to finish, he brings something when it's very sweet. So you don't take him out. But this time I'm going to keep time, and Miriam will keep time. If we see you going beyond, even myself, we must be cut to size so that we get the program working. Thank you. Back to the studio in Nairobi. This is Dr. David Matanga, son of Son himself, on the engine. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, Amira Mogutu from the Punchline Africa Television headquarters here in Nairobi. It's a beautiful afternoon here, and thank you so much for tuning in. And on today's papers, I'll just read all the headlines very quickly before we get into our conversation this afternoon. On the Sunday Standard, Ruto, there's a plot to drive me out. Who is fooling who? The fight in the ruling party is not about to end. Yesterday, Deputy President alleged a fresh plot to kick him out of government, but Jubilee Vice Chairman David Murathe denies such a move and challenges Ruto to reveal more. And then on the side there, Raila, why I won't endorse anyone. And then just down below that story, Western elders can support Mudavadi for presidency. And then on the Sunday Nation, the main headline there reads, Ruto, the plot to kick me out. DP alleges frustration by Uhuru allied operatives, says he's also contributed to Jubilee's victory in 2013 and 2017. Don't push us to the periphery, he asks of his critics. And then tell all comes on day UDA rally was disrupted in Nakuru. So that is the main headline there. And then inside, secret gamer scheme to make Jaramogi president, I think revisiting Kenya's political history there. So that is what we have on the headlines this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for those headlines. I will kick off. Mine is very simple. Any of you who has read the book of Hitler, The Rich, Miriam, you know German better than myself. If you have read any of that book, number 1, number 2, number 3, crowds can sway you. And the crowds can sway the deputy president. But crowds also must be careful. I've read the European history. I've discussed it at length in classes, over breakfast, over lunch, over a toast, over a sandwich. Disagreed with very many professors. It was one of the most horrible history. But I want to make my point in the 2 minutes given to me. 1, the crowds that either the crowds are deceiving or lying to Ruto, or Ruto is lying to the crowds. But in this case, in the Kenyan scenario, it is Ruto lying, because when he gets the power, you remember Adolf Hitler came back, bounced back. Whenever he could go to Rome, a mere raise of hand, oh, Hitler, like this, oh, this, a mere that, the whole crowd of Berlin would become frenzy. They sing the name of Adolf Hitler, but Adolf Hitler turned on them, started eating them. I look at the scenario that if you give Deputy President William Ruto a chance to lead this country, most of you will have to end up either in the forest to fight, to the bush, to get back the power that you took away from a normal channel. And I'm saying this with confidence. I'm saying this without hesitation. And I've been telling people, there is one thing that I want to tell all of you, that I will not lament. I've done my job. But one day, you will keep the history. I tried my level best to expose the toxins of the Deputy President, William Ruto. He has a godfather in the region. I will not speak much because people have not, you see, people don't learn from history. People don't learn that states break because there is external influence. States break because of external influence. External dark forces come and break the state. There's a state, there's an external influence that is breaking the state of Kenya. But if Kenyans don't see it, me, I've seen it. I'm miles away, I've seen it. And believe me or not, this voice might not be there. On this journey, I might be killed, I don't know. On this journey, God can call me, I don't know. On this journey, something can happen, I might not be here. But I want to state it to you, the people of Kenya, those listening, those in the administration, to mark my lips. There is a dark force that is influencing Dr. William Ruto. And that dark force has done very well. In all this, look at Fanon Fancy, Francis Fanon, Miriam, a minute you will cut it from the other one. Francis Fanon, the fear of violence. You go to Nakuru, instigate violence. You find in Nakuru people are very happy. All MPs from the Rift everywhere, they all crowd in Nakuru. They want to cause violence. This is going to be a replica of 2022. It's a fury of what some dictator in this region did to these countries in the region. If people don't see that and they go on happing and telling me like some other things, I have seen it and I've told you, it won't be long before the chicken come home to roost. And I want to thank you all. That's my contribution this morning. The crowds, mark the two words, crowds might lie you, or the crowds are being lied to. Hitler will come back to eat you. If I were a voter in Kenya, I would rather look for another modest man to give my vote. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Professor. The headlines this afternoon. All right, I'll go to Musa.
No, Professor, we can't hear you.
I'm saying, Miriam, yes. It is very unfortunate that the somebody in the name of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, will want to arrange that there are some people to kick him out of the government. Is there anybody, Miriam, to kick him out when he kicked himself? He absconded these duties, Miriam. He is too much far ahead of us. He is in 2022 and we are in 2021. Those are a cheap propaganda. And I've liked him. Some of the three men who have described him who he is. Sam Yamweya, Zirima, they have said who William Ruto is. He's a fraudster. He's a conman. He thinks ahead of everybody else. And even Kaboga has said that when you are having some deals with him, you must have your eyes open and tell him, guys, it can't work like that. And I'm telling him, as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, we elected him to assist the president. He is not assisting the president. The president has told him this. If you are ready to work, work. If you are not ready to work, resign. That's what a person does, Miriam. Miriam, even see what happened yesterday, Miriam. You go to Rift Valley. We have Ministry of Health has given protocols on how to have a meeting. You don't want to notify the police so that 3 days in advance. Miriam, then you walk in, you break the law, and you expect the police to just now, the security operatives, Miriam, to watch you and cry for you. No, Miriam, this one must open their eyes. And Dr. Masanga has failed sort of naming the person who is disturbing the region. He has become an ISO in the region. And this is President Kaguta Museveni, Miriam. He's a problem in the region, Miriam. He entered the presidency when I was a still young boy, and I'm almost heading towards retirement, and he's still in power. And he's teaching bad manners the guy at other politicians in the region. I don't know of what interest he has to destabilize Kenya, Miriam. So, Miriam, we must stand firm and tell Kenyans, Miriam, let us follow the law, and tell the president, let him, the deputy president, just work and stop giving us all side source that there's someone who is kicking you out of the government when you have already kicked yourself.
All right, thank you so much. Musa, DP, they're saying there's a plot to kick him out, and Professor is saying no. You've removed yourself from the party by being contrary to what the party expects of you.
Miriam, I think you can pass it to Wesonga. I'm a bit working on my mic, then I will come back.
All right, very well, thank you so much. So let me just go to Meru before I come back to Wesonga here in Nairobi. Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. And we need to understand that this deputy president, nobody chased him away from government. It is him that chased himself away. Actually, it is said when the president was sworn in for the second term in Kasarani, after the deputy president pressed the Bible from the other end, he was from the other end moving and waving to the ground. He looked for a job, and since that time he has been campaigning to be president, and there is nothing else he has done with his life. It is only campaigning since 2017 to be president in 2022. I have said even in vernacular stations that this deputy president should go on and resign from government or be impeached so that he can go and pursue his personal ambition to be the president of Kenya. Today we have a mandate that they got in 2013 that the president of the Republic of Kenya for the last 8 years has been carrying out across the Republic of Kenya as president and him as deputy. But we have a deputy that is rogue, a very defiant deputy president who continues accusing this government of sidelining him and pushing him out of government. If he is the second in command in government, his juniors surely cannot be the ones that are pushing him out of government. That is essentially accusing his boss, the president of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. Uhuru Kenyatta, of pushing him out of government. Yes, it is the president who said if you cannot support his government, please ship out and go out. This deputy president that we have today is a very rogue deputy president, is a man that no one would wish to work with, including me. If I want to run for president today, I can't look for William Ruto. He is a man that can stand up you and also dismatch and destroy your legacy as a president, and he cannot let you perform. This is a deputy that has gone into his backyard in Mount Kenya region and also destroyed the hearts of the people against their leader, Dr. Uhuru Kenyatta. This is a man that should not be in this government, and the only option that we have as Jubilee members, as people who love President Uhuru Kenyatta, is to ask him to chase him by force out of this government or impeach him so that he can go and continue with his mission of becoming president. Nobody cares about his ambitions, but the day Dr. William Ruto will be sworn in as president of the Republic of Kenya, he will be the president of all Kenyans. But as far as we are concerned, his quest or his ambition to be president of the Republic of Kenya is a personal ambition that the president himself is not concerned about. So this misuse of public resources and his office as a deputy president to continue his personal ambition and agenda to be president should be condemned by everyone while he is serving under the mandate of President Uhuru Kenyatta. If you become the president, then you become the president of all. But at this point, Miriam, he needs to be impeached or pushed out of government completely. There is no arranging or anything like that. He should be pushed out of government this minute. As fast as yesterday, Miriam. He should be chased out of government. Nobody wants a deputy that is rogue as Dr. William Ruto.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, very well. Thank you. Daniel Wesonga, DP, is saying there's a plot to keep kicking out of Jubilee Party.
If Miriam reads such a plot that is in the offing, then I believe that is the best plot that we could ever have at this time, this period in time, Miriam. The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is of no use to the government. He has not helpful to the president in terms of ensuring that he achieves his Big Four agenda. He leaves behind a legacy as per the Jubilee Party manifesto. And therefore, it is time the deputy president should go, either by impeachment, either by sacking, either by resignation. We have to explore means to ensure that the deputy president gets that office, and we give the president someone who can be able to work hand in hand with him, someone they can be able to forge a very cordial working relationship to ensure that at the end of the day, it is the Kenyan people who benefit. What helped Miriam is a deputy president who is already forming another party inside the Jubilee Party. We've seen him with people like Ndama about the UPA party, the agenda of the president, the projects that are being rolled out by the Jubilee administration. So therefore, when you look at it, the SES, Dr. Fred Matiang'i has been very instrumental. When you look on the other side, the NNP boss, Dala Badi, has been very instrumental to the government more than even the deputy president. So therefore, it is a shame for William Ruto to continue being in government, earning an salary as he out there to talk ill of the government, saying that the president has not delivered, talking about the ballooning wage bill of the government, and he is a sitting deputy president. What he can do, Miriam, is to do what Jaramogi did some decades ago, to sit down, put up his future political expeditions, and be able to pen down a resignation letter. He does not even have to speak about people planning to impeach him or maybe force him to resignation. He should be talking out of a principle on how he should resign from government and let Uhuru Kenyatta and any other like-minded leader to take over the mantle and finish the Big Four agenda and other issues that were in the Jubilee manifesto. As it is right now, the deputy president is a man who has a different path, has decided to pursue his 2022 presidential bid and absorb the duties that he was given constantly by the people of the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, he is of no use being in the office that he holds today.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much. And Jevan, perhaps it's important to understand where Deputy President was speaking yesterday. He was at an UDA rally yesterday in Nakuru. At the same time, he's saying he's being kicked out of Jubilee Party.
Thank you, Miriam, for that insights that you have given. But one thing, Deputy President, Honorable William Ruto, he is the one pushing himself outside the Jubilee government. And you know what now he is doing is to seek sympathy from his audience. He is seeking sympathy from the people he calls hustlers, that he is a victim of government intimidations, and that is not the case. He says that he was kicked out of ODM in around 2010. He is now saying that he is being kicked out of Jubilee. Who is kicking him out of Jubilee, and why is him only the victim of the people who are kicked out of parties? And when he is kicked out, the parties becomes vibrant, the parties start performing. And you see, since the day Deputy President absconded his duty, prior to handshake and after handshake with the president, after having a handshake with former Prime Minister Odinga, Jubilee has been delivering. The government of the day has been development after development. Therefore, it is a positive thing, but he should say he is the one who is going out of government because he feels the government of the day will not justify, will not be used to achieve his 2022 presidential ambitions. Therefore, he is out there to seek people who maybe he feels will support his 2022 presidential ambitions. Therefore, he is the one who is kicking him out of government because he is concentrating. Now, Miriam, look at this. The government of the day led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, they are concentrating on achieving their campaign agenda, delivering roads, railways, markets, and so on. But the deputy president has a contrary agenda by the name of hustlerism and the UDA party. Therefore, he is out and he is already satisfied because he is out and he has moved on. He has a UDA party. And what tells him that he will not be kicked out of UDA? Because it seems that is a person who is being kicked out from every party to the next party. Therefore, it is high likely at the end of the day, he might be kicked out of the UDA party because that is the sequence, the series of events since 2007. Therefore, this is a man who has no political principles. That is why he is is moving and jumping from one place to another because he does not stand for anything. If he is a man who stands for anything, he could be in Jubilee or ODM or on his previous parties. But now he is a man who moves from one party to another because he has no concrete political principle. What he has is crowds that follow him because he is pleasing them, because he is giving them words. But at the end of the day, these crowds and these masses will move them now by the funny things that you are telling them, by the excitement that you are bringing to them. But at the end of the day, Kenyans will look and when times come, Kenyans will go out there and look for a president, a person who has the character, who has the ways, and a person who can take this country to the next level. And I don't think the deputy president is a person. Therefore, the deputy president is the one who is working hard to ensure that the Jubilee Party disintegrates. It's the one ensuring that Jubilee Party will not be vibrant in 2022. That is why he is out there to ensure that he breaks down a Jubilee Party and he breaks the government, the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Therefore, he is the one who is causing all these problems in Jubilee with his Jubilee part called Tangatanga. If he is a good man, what he could have done is to bring his troops back in order and bring them and respect the president and work together to ensure this country moves forward. Therefore, he is a victim of his own doings.
Okay. Thank you so much. Very well said. Musa, I don't know if you've been able to fix your audio problems there so that you can respond to the same question. Then we move on to the next item.
Oh.
Musa Abdi.
Musa?
Unmute, Musa.
All right.
Musa, we can't hear you.
Unmute.
Unmute from the phone. Musa, unmute the phone.
All right.
Unmute the phone.
All right. As Musa does that, maybe we just go on, and when he's able to do that, he can join us.
Unmute your phone.
All right.
Yes, always unmute your phone, boss.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. I think responding to, sorry for that technical delay.
It's okay.
Responding to what my good friend Wesonga and Karanja have been saying is that we have one issue here, and I would like to refer to what President Uhuru Kenyatta has done, and that is law number 2 in the 48 laws of power. Never put too much trust in your friends. Learn how to work with your enemies, and that has been, perfectly and in a more flexible manner put by President Uhuru Kenyatta in turning what many believe that he is a foe. The Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is someone whom they cannot purge for political unity together. So I believe in that sense, it's really imperative, something which has never been done in the history of a Kenyan ruling party and oppositional politics. So President Uhuru Kenyatta has achieved that, and in that sense, we need to understand that this country, we have a lot of issues to be concerned about. We have a lot of, the terror issue, the security relations, straining relations. Al-Shabaab has been, trying to penetrate into Kenya. We understand some, secession moves from the northern part of this country. So when I see the deputy president, trying to purge for what I will call unnecessary attention, in seeking what is even yet to come, and that is general election, then I feel even Deputy President William Ruto is betraying the Jubilee Party members and the voters whom, the Kenyans elected in 2013 and in 2017, respectively, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Secondly, I would like to give a very good advice to Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. That is law number 3, 48 laws of power. Never conceal your intention. The moment you let and you shout to public, and I'm telling this, Dr. and Miriam, because if indeed you are a true politician, you could have behaved like Tony Blair, you could have behaved like Daniel Arap Moi, when even there was a time when he was the vice president. He used to be chased even from State House when, the kitchen cabinet and President Jomo Kenyatta was meeting with his cabinet, but he remained patient until the Mzee passed away, and already the road has been charted that Daniel Toroitich arap Moi shall be taking over in a more harmonious way. But I don't see the kind of unnecessary attention Deputy President William Samoei Ruto is taking, and we believe we have a lot of issues to handle. We don't really need general elections now, and he should be able to differentiate between the general election and the BBI process. BBI process is social, political, and economical process, and it is not an event, it is a process, and he should try to replicate the same, that if indeed we should be having a peaceful and harmonious election come 2022, then Kenyans of goodwill should ensure nothing shall be distracting this important and inevitable constitutional amendment process. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And so you brought in the BBI, so that brings us to our second topic of Kenya, that is the BBI. And yesterday, KANU chairman, he was speaking at an event. I'll just quote what Gideon Moi said, part of it on page 7 of the Standard newspaper. Gideon reiterated that BBI is not about individuals, saying it is all-inclusive and will help build unity of purpose among the country's communities. He also warned leaders against gambling with Wananchi's lives, saying they had suffered for a long time. And yesterday I also heard Raila Odinga say, the opposition leader, say that we shall have a Super Tuesday where I suppose a lot of counties will be debating and voting on the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020. And because right now we have about 13 counties, if the BBI proponents can get that, then they shall have the required 24 counties to take the process to the next level. So what are we expecting from the Super Tuesday, as Raila said yesterday? I'll start with you, Doctor.
First of all, this is a topic which we have already touched on, Miriam, and I believe we don't need to do much. From Tuesday, my point is very clear. The poker cards will come on table for play. Most of you who have played poker, I think you know how cards fall. From Tuesday onwards, we shall see the numbers of counties falling for pro-PBI. There is nowhere on earth that Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga will leave this nation halfway. Let's rather go and finish to the finishing end. If you reject the BBI in the referendum, Parliament will come back again and find a way of doing one cardinal thing: change the electoral mechanisms, how you elect your members, how you elect your people. There is no way that this country can have an election, a peaceful election, without changing the mechanisms through the bill, that was amendment bill that has been put forward. Therefore, more and more Kenyans are understanding. Apparently the people who were interviewed, I was looking at many of your television stations online, many of them were saying, oh, the BBI is now, it looks like it has some material inside. So people are reading. If 35% of the money is coming to your village, your MCA will have a cut check on you. You are transferring the problem to the MCA's door for him to cater for your funeral. What else do you want to look for the MP for? There's in each community is reasoning in a different way. And some community, there is a woman yesterday who reasoned, the panel, Miriam, the woman reasoned, if the money is being brought near your village, the problem you have, you don't need to walk to go to Nairobi to Parliament to look for the MP. The MP is here in the ward. The ward rep will have a fund. That fund, you must sit down, all of you, and make sure that there is a road where our cars don't pass. So let's build this road, and then you make a decision. There is a school where children go to there they sit on trees. Let's make a decision. Miriam, from Tuesday, it will be poker game. Poker game. That's all I can conclude. I'm not going to be speaking. I hope I've kept my 2 minutes.
All right, and I think we've talked so much about this topic, as Dr. there has said, so perhaps we just move on, and then maybe there will be new developments today, and we can continue with this conversation on our morning show, God willing, tomorrow. So let's just get on to our other topics outside of Kenya, and we start with Somalia. And security forces in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, last week fired on hundreds of people protesting against the delay of the country's election, as at least one explosion was reported at the international airport, and armed personnel carriers blocked major roads there. A video seen by media from anti-government demonstrations showed civilians in face masks waving Somali flags, scattering as gunfire erupted. People went into the streets despite the government banning public gatherings last week. It cited a rise in COVID-19 cases, but critics called it an attempt to block the protest. Doctor, perhaps you should start us off with the conversation.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And the panel. Somalia is at crossroads. Point number one, to get Somalia back to a civilized system, you must overthrow Farmajo. I'm sorry. I don't have many words to. Farmajo must go. Farmajo is a merchant, is not a leader. Farmajo is a warmonger, is not a leader. Farmajo is a trader. He has no leadership qualities. Even if you give Farmajo 200 camels, he will say he only received 5. He is not honest. Farmajo, I gave the camels because Somalis like camels. And I believe Mr. Musa Abdi Haji will be with me to say, you like camels so much. If you give Farmajo 200 camels, he will say, no, I only got 5. He is not honest. If you look at the country by country, we can speak about the same person, not me. Because some people are misusing my name. Some people misuse me. Mm-hmm. Some people who don't know me try to misuse me. But I've come from a long way, and I fight such idiots until I defeat them. For 36 years, Museveni has tried to kill me, but he has never succeeded. Therefore, I will still remain firm that I also, mark you, I'm a difficult tactical officer. It doesn't matter what you do about me, because I've said the truth. I will tactically do it. I will find out. And when I find out, I'm a tsunami. Let me tell you frankly, the moment, and let me now tell people to know, the moment Museveni became the chief advisor of Farmajo, that was the end of Somalia. If you want to get any other advice, go and get a rope. Even if you are an intelligence officer of which caliber, I'm telling you today, and listen to me, let's not talk lies. The moment Farmajo removed Somali people to train in Kampala, including electoral commissioners to train, police officers to train in Kampala, everybody, all civil servants. And the moment Farmajo was captured, Somalia went to the Indian Ocean. And believe me or not, where is the hotbed? If you want me to prove this, where is the hotbed? Those who say they do intelligence, where is the hotbed? The hotbed is Mogadishu. Who commands Mogadishu? Sector 1, isn't it? Miriam, you know more about this sector. Sector 1 is Mogadishu. Who commands Mogadishu? It's Uganda. Who looks after Mr. Farmajo? Ugandan special forces, not Uganda UPDF, special forces, who are the chief advisors from the same person. A man got it. He says, there you are. The moment that was done, I saw it about 1 year ago. I started raising this alarm. And unfortunately, I'm a foreigner. Therefore, as a foreigner, I keep quiet. And that's what I'm going to do. But I'll remain talking about Africa. But I'm not a foreigner to Africa. I'm a foreigner, but not a foreigner to Africa. That's why God created me with a black skin, not a skin of a white person. I'm sorry. Call me any names, thank you. But I told you, and I've warned you, you can try to please that man across the bridge. The man is not pleasable. From 1978 in Tanzania, some of us who know, who have been there before, we know. Nyerere tried to put us together. We had to tell Nyerere to separate us to go each way. Tabora na Chingwea. Our people were dying every night. We have not written the whole story. But now, from the moment Mr. Farimajo came and got into the hands that nowadays overflies Kenyan territory to land into Entebbe for advice, does not come to Nairobi, where his children and wife and other relatives are, where his property, where he's getting rent is. I told you it was finito. It was finito. The only thing that the international community can do now is to put pressure on Mr. Abidi, Mr. Faramijo. Put pressure on him to either hold a free and a fair election or quit, allow other people to supervise, allow UN. Somalia should be put under a UN mandate. AMISOM is not going to help to stabilize Somalia. Remove status from Somalia. It does not need to have a status. Nyenye. What world is this? Miriam, give me an extra 1 minute or another half. What world is this? What world is this that gives a nation of people who come to kill us when they know who are the terrorists? You have given the man status to fly a flag. But the man himself, in Villa, Somalia, there is an MP whom I know is the head of Al-Shabaab. And if you press me further, it's a toboa. You kill me once, I will go to God. Threatening people every day. Oh, Museveni will kill you. Kill what? Kill who? How many have you killed? Are we not still there? People should not talk. This color, chocolating. We are not going to stop. If it is speaking from Kenya, people will speak from elsewhere, and it will be deadly. I'm promising you. It will be deadly. So, let me tell you frankly, there is always a problem. Farimajo is a problem. He has looked out of okay, today Kenya is going for a case in the ICJ. Which case is Kenya going for? If I might ask Kenyan authorities, which case are you going for? Which one? The one of 15th March? The man has sold the blocks. Has sold 5 blocks. 5 blocks included. Now you are saying you are lining up lawyers to go for which case? Why don't you first petition to hold this case? Violated Kenya's sovereignty. by selling 5 that were prohibited by the court, Miriam. I swear in the name of God, someone is not telling the truth on this subject. And that Kenyans will cry tomorrow for me, quote my words that I said. However ugly I am, don't worry. Don't worry. 5 blocks among the blocks which were prohibited by the court, then you are marching with to go to court with your chest that you are going to represent the case. First, withdraw this case because Somalia has violated the regulations. Isn't it? It has violated the regulations. It has put the 5 blocks on. It has put the 5 blocks on stock market, stock exchange. They have got the money. Someone has pocketed the cash. Who is pocketing this cash? And then you say you are going to file a case, stand in a court when this guy is drilling. These guys are doing, they are going to drill this thing. They have been preparing for us. They have been preparing for Kenya. They want to fight Kenya. If Kenya doesn't know that, I'll tell it here. Those people should know. We should prepare ourselves. Kenya is a sovereign state, a peaceful country. But the moment Farmajo was captured, but he fires a Faki, and the President Museveni became the advisors, William, that was the end of Somalia. For me, I would prepare an exit strategy. Take what I have, prepare what we call exit strategy. An exit strategy, defend Kenya, but Kenya, as long as Farmajo is the president, I am not the only one speaking. Some people think I am the only one. No, every professor who has studied international law. I don't subscribe to Professor Kawanja's type of modus operandi. I am more educated in the brain, by the way, than people who harp about money. I don't speak to get money. I speak to change situations. And mark my words, I don't speak for money. And if you don't give me, I will deliver. I will deliver and go home. Didn't I deliver the chief prosecutor? Is Fago Gaina the chief prosecutor? Is he? No. Oh yes, where was Kenya? I delivered. At least some people should say thank you. Not to go on telling people this or that or this. What? How many people will you kill? How many? How many? How many? You think we have no friends? You think we have no friends? You have threatened too many people. We think we have no friends? One day, we have, let's go be honest, Somalia has no decorum over this case. You are going to daten your umesikia Professor na Haji na Douglas. We are datening our, you know, on a Twitter, they have already eaten the whole thing. The thing is already done. They brought an American judge from Texas, where the whole problem of oil is. You think they will give us this judgment? Eh? Wacha tukule per diem. Let's eat per diem. Let's eat it. I'm not bothered. And I'm not, frankly, I'm pissed off. But I am not going to be pissed off to blame my principles. My principles are clear. My aim is very clear. On Farmajo, I don't like him. He's not a Somali president. He's an American president from Minnesota, working for American interest, not for Somali interest. You can't shoot your fellow presidents when they are protesting over something which is very normal. You send live bullets. That cannot be a Somali. That can only be a foreigner who has 2 passports and has not renounced the passport. I told you, and I want to ask the Somalis, who always yap about me. Wow. Let me ask you, you yap about who? Can Farimajo show you the letter cancelling his citizenship in the US? Show us. Ask Farimajo or Minister of Foreign Affairs to publish. You know, when the United States cancels your passport, it gives you a letter. Can Farimajo publish that letter to the Somalis? Don't tackle a snake you cannot get. I'm also a snake. Don't. And what when you wanazungumza hii these lies and the blackmail, muache. Let's face the facts. Hii case ya maritime, we shall lose. The way we go, we shall lose. Tuambiane ukweli. So let's prepare jet fighters to fight the way we are going. I am of the opinion, and that's my opinion. Nobody can gag my opinion. You can refuse it, but you can't gag it. I am going to struggle with the United Nations Security Council route. I am not going to be interested in hearing about the court. My court problem was that smaller judge, the Somali judge. He went off. I removed him. But I'm now, and I want us to put Nyenye wa Kenya, the Kenyans on the panel. Miriam, watch my eyes. Put Matanga under the team. Don't mistake the words. I am going the UN route. I will get my lobby in the US to get that thing into UN. I want it into UN. Already my letter is with the Secretary General. I handed it over myself in Gilgil. It has arrived. You tackle your route. Don't come my route. Let me go my way. After all, I'm not employed to do that. I am going my route. My route will bear fruits faster than the routes that your people are paying billions and billions of shillings. The legal route will deliver this region into war. If I did not say that about Gaddafi, kill me. I said I want the people. So there you are. There you are. People don't want to tell the truth. And this is the only way I will be telling the truth. Kutoka leo. This here, Tagonga, the truth. Because people tell lies. Tell lies. Oh, we have a case with Somalia. Which case? The man, Somalia has sold 5 blocks. It has put it on the stock exchange. Go to the serious fraud office in London. My friend, we talk with facts and we have them. What? Somalia is more or less ahead. Already has got the money. You are paying from your taxpayer. Somalia is paying from the stock exchange money. You get, where Songa you deal with money. You are partly a banker. Somalia is not using its hard-earned KRA money. It is using the money of the 5 blocks in Lamu Pesa. It has stock exchanged it on the stock exchange. Sold it. Then the court. Nobody. Now, you tell me, who in Kenya has written to complain about the sale? Who? Show me one letter. Show me one letter, Miriam. Sure. Let's see the letter. Nobody has complained. Now, tomorrow is when they are going to run it to say, we understand you sold the blocks. What type of life is this? We saw this a long time ago. Some of us intercepted this letter a long time ago. And I said these blocks are being sold. So there you are. I am here and I'm telling you, Miriam, the conflict in the Indian Ocean of the maritime can only be resolved if you change leadership in Mogadishu. Point 1. 2, the maritime conflict between Kenya and Somalia should be removed from the ICJ. That is Matanga's line. I don't care whether Kenya goes to court 2 million times. I'm not bothered. Mine is to remove the case. I wanted the UN Security Council to decide whether it is not a threat to peace if you give one block of oil to any of the countries that they will not fight. If they will not fight, let the UN, 5 members, at least 1 member of the United permanent member will support me. And I know, and China will come, another country will come. I'm telling you, but 1 member, I've already canvassed this, 1 member will support me. It's better. It is better to withdraw, to defer under Article 7, defer. Let me teach some diplomats in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Deferral. If you don't know, ask for deferral. UN, Kenya is on UN Security Council. Then you are bothering to pay lawyers to go to the ICJ. ICJ is paid the salary by who? Miriam, the salary of ICJ comes from where? From UN, isn't it? Who pays the UN? United Nations Secretary General Guterres, Antonio Guterres, is the line manager of ICJ judges.
Yeah, sure.
So now you tell me, why do you bother with the judge, yet the man is there? Yet a country like Kenya can go, is a state party, can say no, Indian Ocean, we don't want a war. We want to be given more time to come out of court. We sit down with Somalia again. Somalia can refuse, but once the Security Council has deferred and said the case is not going to be heard for now, the islands will remain as they are, nobody will occupy any, and that is better for the peace in the region. But if you give one of these islands, 1 oil blocks to one of the country and say the line should pass here, Farimajo has been training 1,000 pilots in Turkey. 1,000. Turkey has provided the latest planes which could hover over Nairobi within seconds and return to Mogadishu. Latest planes which Americans don't have. They are just wondering where did they get this. One of the latest planes is not an exaggeration. Turkey gave them to Farimajo. That's why Farimajo has grown his wings. He knows Turkey will come in, they will dismantle, they will fight with Kenya, the war will be in Indian Ocean, ships will not pass. The Middle East will be in chaos, the Indian Ocean will be in chaos, no trade going that way, ships will be expensive to pass through the West African coast before they arrive in Mombasa. Kenya stands to lose once there is a war. Thank you.
All right, very much. Professor, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Miriam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Miriam, on Somalia, let me just ask this
Thank you, Dr.
Let me just ask this to say, Miriam.
Mm-hmm.
Whether with the new and latest fashion type of planes, Kenya will not secede even a half of an inch. We have said, Miriam, us and Somalia are neighbors. That's how God designed. Let us subject ourselves into negotiations. But if you push that you want war, you cannot cow Kenya. And I'm telling you, and this is what I said, and I want to quote Dr. Stephen Kalonzo, the Vice President of Kenya. He said, the world is tired with Somalia. It is high time that they put their acts together. But Majo cannot go and auction the oil blocks in the Indian Ocean, which does not belong to Somalia. The least we can do, don't auction. Let us know where are our boundaries are. And if the boundaries are for Somalia, so be it. Miriam, I'm one man who will not want to take something which does not belong to Kenya. Neither was rightfully for Kenya, let it be for Kenya. Miriam, what do you do with a child? You are a mother. You are carrying a child on the back. And the child, because of some reasons or the other, she decides or he to bite you. What will you do? You know what you will do. You will beat that child or you will just put that child down. Miriam, we have carried Somalia all that much. Which government are they talking about, Miriam, Somalia? Somalia government was constituted here in Kenya, Miriam. We have done all that we could, Miriam, to sustain that Somalia. To ensure we are just neighbors, you also form a country. Miriam, is that what you do to your neighbor? You go outside there, you want to conspire with Turkey, with France, with Qatar, Miriam, and you do Kenya. Miriam, you know I'm a peaceful man, and I profess peace, but I'm ready, Miriam, to fight for this country, up to the last man. So, Dr. Masanga, have no fear. Kenya has got men and women who will defend this country. And yes, you can have the latest weapons of fighting, but God is on our side because we do not want what belongs to Kenya to be taken. And Miriam, even the one Faramajo was even crossing the embassy, he was doing it from Ravington here, Miriam. But I don't want Miriam to just to attack innocent people, good people, brothers and sisters of Somalia, to over criminal, over thief. Miriam, you saw the other day someone was engaging us from Norway. You saw Hamed? He was engaging from there. You cannot engage us from Norway. And even when you are going to Norway, Miriam, you pass through Kenya. And he was even going next to Somalia saying that his father fought for the independence of this country, joined my mouth. The very reason, Miriam, we need to coexist. We have coexisted with Somalia for so many years, Miriam. The world is watching, and I agree with Dr. Masanga. Let the case not be handled in the ICJ court, Miriam. Courts are not the best way, Miriam, of handling disputes, Miriam. Because when you go to court, Miriam, the court has to make a decision whether the Bronx belongs to Kenya or the Bronx belongs to Somalia, Miriam. And when the court says that, Miriam, it may be a recipe for chaos. So I'm saying, can the case be removed from court? And we come out of the court settlement, Miriam. Mm-hmm. We can, Miriam, since God created this world, nobody has used those oil and we have coexisted. Can we fight over something which does not exist? So if the case is moved out of court and the leadership in Mogadishu is changed, Miriam, I think, Miriam, we can make a headway. I submit.
All right, very well. Thank you so much, Professor Musa Abdihaji from Isiolo. I don't know what are your thoughts on this. I know we talked about it on Friday. Okay.
Musa.
I'll go to Douglas while Musa works on his audio there.
Thank you, Miriam. First of all, I would like to make this one clear. And
Go ahead, Musa. Go ahead. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Thank you. It was a bit of interruption.
Okay.
But as Dr. Professor Onyari has said, and even Dr. Matsanga has put it, one thing I really believe in here is that we remember the case for these countries supporting Somalia. One good case is that one of Turkey. And I would like to categorically say, without lying here, even the kind of planes, the kind of fighters, Somalia have been equipped with, and this is the latest F-35 fighter jets, which before the pact was withdrawn, Turkey was manufacturing it with the help of United States of America and the European Union. And one thing I really believe is that yes, a state like Turkey are good in drone attacks. You remember how they supported Azerbaijan against the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh against Armenia. But leave alone this. Professor Onyari has said a very important. He has said a very important, topic here. He said we are neighbors. God has designed us in that way, in that we coexist as neighbors. You shall never hear a time that Cape Verde or Senegal has been moved to neighbor Kenya. We are going to exist forever. And there is, a sense for these two states to exist. But what I see here is that the child you've raised, the child you've supported for too long is now turning against you. Professor Onyari said, even if it is sarcastic, there was a time the Somali parliamentary organ was constituted, was working, was implementing laws right away from the heart of the Nairobi, from the heart of the capital of Kenya, that is Nairobi City. We remember very well, the largest humanitarian aid we are giving to our brother Somalia is courtesy of this country called Kenya. The Dadaab refugee camp and the Kakuma refugee camp, we are aware of how we are helping our neighbors. And I felt that triangular area, the maritime area, should not have been, causing the problem between us. We have a lot of avenues to chatter. We have a lot of issues to deal with. I think Somalia has a lot of internal problems to pursue than pursuing a foreign policy issue with Kenya. Somalia is a country of 16 million people, Professor Onyari, who have 3 presidents. That is a crisis. That is a constitutional crisis, unprecedented constitutional crisis, Professor Onyari, whereby in a country of Kenya, we have 56 million people, nearly 56, and we have 1 president. The question we should be asking our brothers, do they have a failed government or a working government? Look at what is happening in Puntland. Look at what is happening with their brother Somaliland, which now President Uhuru Kenyatta has decided. Because now the child you've raised is really misbehaving. President Uhuru Kenyatta has decided to open a consulate in Hargeisa, come this March. So all these policy shift we are seeing at the end of the day, Kenya is not going to be harmed. Kenya is not going to be, drawn into some unnecessary, warfare here and there, Miriam. And I believe, even apart from that, our peacekeepers, in the name of United Nations peacekeeping forces, we've been to Sierra Leone, we've been to in areas of Democratic Republic of Congo. Our diplomatic niche in this continent is recognized. And here I submit and make the only, request I can make to that dissident child who is being lectured by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is that if indeed the country called Somalia could have really respected the rule of international law, the existence of sovereign nations among its neighbors, then instead of taking this case to ICJ, they would have taken it to African Union Court of Justice. We have AU court here. It is working. It is really setting pace, as far as, issues of diplomacy and assisting, regional economic blocs like ECOWAS is concerned. They have been helping us. Professor Onyari, you remember when Gambia misbehaved under President Yahya Jammeh, ECOWAS took the matter in its own hands and, canned the misbehaving child. Yahya Jammeh was chased out of Gambia. We believe that homegrown solution can solve homegrown problems, the problems which is emanating from this continent. And when I see now such a triangular area of land, which is being heightened by Somalia to International Criminal Court, I believe, and I see that what Professor Dr. Watsanga has already said, we don't want to cause another topology of Libya. We don't want to cause another topology of Democratic Republic of Congo. We've had enough already. And we believe the only way we can forward into thinking as diplomatic, neighbor, is to tell Somalia to consider its relations in a more positive way with Kenya. France cannot help them. Norway cannot help them. Neither United States one way or another, neither United Nations Security Council. If indeed United Nations Security Council could have been very serious with the regulations they are giving to ICJ, then what is not happening to Rohingya communities in Myanmar? Then what is not happening to the Uyghur community in Southeast China? These are the issues, even International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice, ICJ, should be looking into, instead of, heightening such kind of, agenda. We have IGAD, who can charter the way forward in resolving the relations, between Kenya and Somalia. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you so much. Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. And also, we need to understand that all diplomacy and all manner of engagements that would have been effected in Somalia, Mohamed Farmajo is not interested in that. This is a man whose country was supposed to have held the elections on 8th of February 2021. This is a man that has continued many days later and weeks later. Mohamed Farmajo continues sitting pretty well at Vida Somalia without any signs of elections being held in Somalia, without any credible or any important communication being done by Mohamed Farmajo and his allies and also troops in Vida Somalia. This is a man that is not committed to peace anymore. This is a man whose uncle made the Somali Republic become a pariah state in 1991 when the fall of Siande Barre became imminent and he was toppled from his government in 1991. This is the same man that years later wants to take their country to the dogs. This is a man whose allies are the resource greedy Western countries and Western powers, whose mandate in Somalia is to exploit their resources, natural resources, and leave the people of Somalia high and dry. This is a man whose allies are the resource greedy Western powers, whose only interest in Somalia is the declaration of oil blocks in Indian Ocean, where they want the oil blocks against the wishes of the Kenyan people and the government, who want to arbitrate this matter and make it clear that they need to be able to resolve the issue in Indian Ocean. Mohamed Farmajo is no longer interested in resolving the issue in Indian Ocean. Mohamed Farmajo is interested in his selfish agenda and also selfishness as a human and greedy. This is a man whose only interest is to take Somalia down as he continues, making sure that he makes money off the people of Somalia. This resident of Minnesota in USA has continued destroying the sovereignty of the people of Somalia. The people of Somalia today are no longer sovereign. This is a man that would use his army and troops to continue shooting on peaceful protesters against their wishes that were not honored on 8th of February 2021. When they wanted to have the elections and elect new leaders, Mohamed Farmajo continues stifling the voices of dissent and also alternative perspectives in Somalia. This is a man that should be toppled from government in Somalia. Before Mohamed Farmajo, there was Somalia. After Mohamed Farmajo, there will be Somalia. This is my hope that the international community will support people of goodwill and also people that have alternative voices and alternative perspectives, and to that of Mohamed Farmajo, topple him out of government so that Somalia can be saved. For Somalia to be saved, Mohamed Farmajo must go. For Somalia to experience development and progress, Mohamed Farmajo must go. For Somalia to pacify their peace and leave their country and let foreign troops leave their country so that their country will be left in the hands of Somali National Army and the police force into safe hands. Somali President Mohamed Farmajo must go, and also the Al-Shabaab leader in his cabinet must be arrested, and also other Al-Shabaab sympathizers in his government must be arrested and also face the rule of law. Mohamed Farmajo should go from Vida Somalia for the people of Somalia to experience better leadership. Like Dr. Masanga said, this is not a leader, this is a merchant of impunity. This is a trader who has continued trading against the wishes of the Somali public. My submission is for the people of Somalia to go forward, for their country to go forward. Mohamed Farmajo must go. He must be toppled. Thank you, I submit.
Okay. All right. So a coalition of opposition candidates are calling for President Mohamed Farmajo to step down after his term expired on February 8th, and the deadline to hold indirect elections was missed as the country's semi-autonomous region squabbled over how to conduct the vote. And just one of the key things there, Musa, you said Somalia is having its own internal problems there that is supposed to be dealing with right now. And quite interesting, one of the people who are complaining and against this move is his former Prime Minister Hassan Haire, who worked with him, but later on, of course, was removed by Parliament, voted a vote of no confidence against him. So now he's there criticizing his former boss, and we know he has no love for Kenya at all, Hassan. He's made that very clear in his interest and all that. And I've seen a couple of one of viewers here saying, the protests were organized by Kenya and all that. I mean, are we using Kenya as a scapegoat here instead of just Somalia dealing with its problem as it should, especially President Farmajo there, Daniel?
Let me say first of all that it goes without saying that bad friends corrupt good morals, and we've seen the kind of friends that President Farmajo has, from Kaguta Museveni of Uganda, from Qatar to Djibouti. And these are people who do not have a very, very honest interest for the region. And they have been advising him to do all kind of bad things in Somalia for their own interest and for Farmajo's interest. And I'll tell you for a fact, I do have friends from Somalia who are in the United States, who are in Canada. And tell you, for a common Somali man, for a common Somali woman, for a common Somali patriot, wherever they are, it is not in their best interest for Somali to have a matrimonious relationship with Kenya. And even whatever is happening in the Indian Ocean, those are interests of Qatar, those are interests of other foreign powers that are and all the ruling class that is in Somalia. Because today, when they're saying that it is Kenyans who planned and executed those demonstrations and the reason that people in Mogadishu, that is a very, very flat lie, Miriam. Because intelligence cables have is very contrary to what they are portraying to the public. Is that those demonstrations were sponsored by the state, by the government of Farmajo, in order to provoke the opposition into chaos and upheaval. And that was to necessitate a scenario where Farmajo is able to now properly send his grip on power and to cling into leadership for more time than anticipated. So that was that was a scheme that was done by the government of the day, and the opposition was able to read it earlier than they expected, and that is what happened in Somalia, and that is why the opposition was a bit reluctant to take the bait. So to me, I think Miriam, President Farmajo, under the advice of President Kaguta Museveni, is trying to do what most African dictators do, trying to bring a scenario where he would portray the opposition as the aggressor and therefore get credence for being enacting a totalitarian regime that will enable him to cling to power for longer than what the constitution says. That is the correct picture, Miriam, and I believe he's lying to the people of Somalia, he's lying to the world. He says that these demonstrations were sponsored by the Kenyan government or Kenyan authority.
Okay, thank you.
Miriam, can I add something?
Go ahead quickly before you go to Javan.
Yeah, thank you. I think, Miriam, we have one problem here, and Wesonga said a very important point, and this is what is happening in Somalia as far as this is concerned. One agenda here is the issue of sectarianism. When I speak of sectarianism, Miriam, is Somalia faced a lot of issues of terror. You know, when the Al-Qaeda sponsored group Al-Shabaab came in, we recall also the case of these groups trying to assert the Islamic rule of law, the Islamic Sharia rule of law. So when you see the kind of behavior being inculcated, even apart from the Prime Minister and the President disagreeing, look at the look at the voters and the Somali community. We have one problem here. And even there was a time, President Farmajo, before he came, we had a very moderate President Abdullah Yusuf, who happened to, before dealing with foreign policy issues and, engaging for good relations with Kenya, he ensured the issue of sectarianism, the Al-Shabaab influence, the Wahhabism influence from Saudi Arabia, the Qatari influence, from Middle East is well tackled and well vested from, interfering
and these countries,
again.
And
but
these
now
countries,
the problem is this.
Sorry, Musa, these countries you're
cabinet,
mentioning,
ministers and some of the key decision makers. He never inquired much from the people, the kind of ministers they should be putting in place. Most of them, as Wesonga put out, and I will strongly agree, is that they turn out to be radicals who believe that for any development project to take place, there must be a very strong religious affiliation. So the influence you are seeing from Qatar, the influence you are seeing from Saudi Arabia, the influence you are seeing from these Muslim countries of United Arab Emirates, this is the kind of soft power Somalia is trying to play with Kenya. Remember, we are a Christianly dominated country, and despite the constitution of Kenya giving everyone the mandate to respect their religion, the Somalis and especially the sectarians and the radicals think that Kenya should be facing some sort of liberation. You remember in one of the books by the Al-Shabaab militia group, Miriam, they say is that so they are targeting, Al-Shabaab militia group is targeting to alienate Kenya and make it an Islamic country. So these are some of the issues we should be looking at, as long as it is happening with the mandate of Farmajo and issues here and there.
Yes.
I also see Farmajo is being overwhelmed that he can no longer control religious affiliations, radicalism and sectarianism from these Islamic countries. Miriam, thank you.
Thank you so much. A very interesting point there. And while you're talking, what I needed to add to that is these countries you're pointing out, they don't have a democracy. People there don't vote. I've not heard of people queuing and voting in Qatar, Saudi Arabia. They're not true. They don't have the kind of democracy we have. And this is the kind of democracy that Somalia was gearing towards as the election that was supposed to be happening for the first time. They were supposed to be having a one-man, a one-vote kind of democratic elections there. So it's quite interesting that you bring up this point. And I think it makes a lot of sense as we sit here talking about Somalia and whatever the problem we have with Somalia and Kenya. Could it be very well? We know there has been a lot of outside influence, and you've brought in the issue of sectarianism, what we've been seeing happening there in Somalia. So there could be somebody outside of Somalia who is fighting that Somalia does not go at the democratic way so that they're able to continue their influence over Somalia. Jervin, very interesting information there from Musa.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to weigh on my thoughts on the issue of Somali and its relationship with Kenya and the issue of elections and so on, and the demonstrations that have roomed in the towns of Mogadishu are quite interesting because the previous panelists have already exhausted in a quite a number of issues. But let me say this, Musa have made a very good points, and that one we agree, and there's something that is issue. And Miriam, these things that divide us, like the religion, tribes, communities, and clans, and class, and color, all these things, they are very emotive. When you bring them, they end up being very emotive, and to some point, people tend not to control their emotions, and they end up reacting and doing things out of board. Therefore, it's something that should be looked into. But on the issue of Somali, stability will come in Somali if the president of the day sees the need to have a cohesive country, a democratic space, that people be given an opportunity to vote freely without being coerced or being directed to do something that is contrary to their wish. Therefore, that is something that the government of the day should look into. And that will come because the President Farmajo have come out and portraying a picture of a man who is not willing to surrender to a democratic space, a man who is not willing to have a negotiation in terms of having a stable regional cooperation, and especially with its neighborhood. And to that, I point to Kenya as the point and the way out of this mess and the troubles in Somalia is to have Farmajo out of the government and people of Somalia to be given a free will to choose the leader of their choice without a state interference, so that they can have somebody who might bring stability in their country, someone who will be on up to task to fight the menace of Al-Shabaab in the country, and to cooperate with other bodies to ensure that the issue of terrorism is dealt with in the region. Someone will be there to ensure that we have a peaceful coexistence between the two countries, Kenya and Somalia. And somebody will ensure that the people of Somalia have a space to carry out their political, social, and economic affairs without any interference, and somebody who will be free from outside interference, and somebody who will believe that for Africa to move on, the solution must come from Africa, and the solution must come within. Somebody will not be coerced to act in favor or to act in favor of these United Arab countries. They can have their relationship, but that should not determine how other countries within its neighborhood have and how they relate to each other. Therefore, I feel for Somalia to stabilize, they need to have a new leader who is focused to ensure that the country goes to the right track.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very well, thank you so much. And speaking of...
Miriam, thank you very much. I think we are running out of time. It is coming to 4 o'clock. I think that the other topics, if we don't mind, we can carry them over as an over so that people go home at exactly 4. We can exhaustively hammer Somalia, unless there is any other topic among the remaining one that was favorite for you. Bring it up, we finish it. Otherwise, we can't be able to finish all the topics. I think that's my suggestion.
All right, very well. And I just, yes, I think we can do that, because I do have some latest information, even as we speak about internal issues there. Even in the oil sector in Somalia, they're having their own internal problems. And the latest news from Somalia is Somalia's sale of the offshore oil blocks has hit a rock following the dismissal of the chief executive of the Petroleum Authority amid claims of political interference only 6 months into his tenure. Petroleum and Mineral Resources Minister Abdi Rashid Mohammed Ahmed announced on January 21st that the cabinet had dismissed Ibrahim Ali Hussein as chairman and chief executive of the Somalia Petroleum Authority and replaced him with Asha Osman. Now, members of parliament say the dismissal is suspect, coming so close to elections. And on February 2nd, the Lower House Committee on Natural Resources and Environmental, which had been investigating matter, said Mr. Hussein was dismissed after he rejected interference from the parent ministry that had conducted negotiations with oil companies, knowing that the Somali Petroleum Authority is in charge. So the ministry went ahead to conduct some negotiations with some oil companies over I think those oil blocks that might be at the ICJ without the Somali Petroleum Authority knowing, and they're the ones who are supposed to be doing that. So in a detailed report sent to Somalia's Prime Minister Hussein Roble and Mr. Ahmed, the committee said the dismissal must be reversed to safeguard the integrity of the oil regulation in the country. And also the committee realized that a few hours after the announcement of the removal of the chairman, the minister had shut down the SPA website and the email accounts of the SPA board of directors while the bidding round process was taking place and the purchase of the seismic data. And of course, Somalia has about 58 oil blocks dotting about 3,000 kilometers coastline. And in the past 6 months, it put up 7 oil blocks, promising investors lucrative returns. Part of the agreements are expected to include upfront payments to the government of Somalia. So they have internal problems that they should be dealing with before they even continue with the ICJ case there.
Okay, Miriam, let's conclude on this one, and I would ask the panel to give us to endure for another 10 minutes or 15, so that all of you get a gist. Musa Haji Abidi brought important question, important element. And I want to ask you one thing to the panel. Is there any nomadic country that has peace? Show me one. Let's look at all nomadic states in Africa. The Sahel region, Niger, Burkina Faso. Look at those. Look at them. Mauritania, Mali, Sudan. Look at the Egypt. Look at them. Somalia, Djibouti, Asmara, Ethiopia. There's something that, because this is the learning curve, there's something that came out. There are 5 aspects that make Somalia a ticking bomb. 1, nomadic democracy. Nomadism. Democracy is very difficult to tame. It works as a uniting factor, but very difficult to tame. When they turn on you, everywhere, look at how the Fulani have turned on the Igbo. Look at all Nigeria, Fulani, they are nomadics. They say they want to graze their cows. They come in a group and they take you out. They don't care. Nomadism. Democracy in form of governance. 2, culture. There's one thing that unites Somali. They have the same culture. With the governance of clanism, clan governance. I'm adding more on my Mr. Musa.
Yes.
3, there's one thing that unites Somali, religion. Don't tell me about this, the Shiites and the Shiites and the other group is called what? The Shiites and the Sunni and the Shiites. No, there is one. They are united by religion. Another thing that unites the Somalis, customs, the culture, customs. They behave the same. Marriage is the same. Resolving issues, they do it the same way. You know, they do it the same way. But Miriam, all these components are present in Somalia. But why has Somalia failed to have peace? Religion, the same. Culture, the same. Democracy is the same. The same. They move to look for cattle. Just as Muhammad Musa Haji here, when the census came in Isiolo, people had moved. They were not counted. You remember that fracas of census. You had moved as Taveta down there with your cameras, camels. Nobody wanted to. People were looking for you to count you. When you arrived, the census was already gone. Then you came back and said the census was not right. There is that. Those ingredients are present in Somalia. But there is one big monster. One big monster, which Muhammad Haji was trying to bring. External dark forces. United Arab Emirates don't agree with Qatar. Turkey does not agree with Qatar. UAE does not agree with Turkey. Norway does not agree with America. It can keep quiet, but it is not happy. Remember what is killing people in Mombasa, in Mogadishu now, is the former prime minister not agreeing with Farimajo. But the former Prime Minister with Farimajo are the people who took these oil blocks to the ICJ. Why? Hassani Harrier is the one who sold the oil blocks. Soma Oil Company, you remember? In Britain. Floated it in Britain. He got a huge money though. And no wonder he's using that money now he can fight for the Farimajo for giving 10 years. He's got money and backing. Now the people of Norway and the other Western countries are hiding behind Hassan Harrier. That is also a destabilizing factor. Apart from Mr. Farimajo being very bad, there is also a destabilizing factor. But now, given all this scenario, the panel, what does a normal country like Kenya, seated with its troops in Kismayo, with the interests of a porous border, what does Kenya do when you are looking for an exit strategy? What do you need to have an exit strategy? An exit strategy comes when the head, the heart, and the stomach are all breathing in one direction. They do the same like this. If they are not doing that and the one is doing, there will be no exit strategy. So Kenya finds itself in a very hard place between a rock and a soft ground. A hard place between a hard place and a rock. It cannot move. Where does it go? Does it come to the border? Then what? It has the troops deep in the Kismayo. It has established the heart, the brain, the heart, and the stomach. People in Kismayo sleep outside. They even pray freely in Kismayo. They go to the ocean. They are not fearing Al-Shabaab. While in Mogadishu, the people fear Al-Shabaab. Why? Kenya has done a great job in that country. But let me come down and finish this. Do you know why Somalia is going that way? And I link it in your summary as your parting shot. When President Abim, Prime Minister Abim, Efaki, Esaias, and Farid Mohammed, Farimajo, the moment they made a pact, turned the religion, and that is the point this guy, Musa, was bringing in. They turned the religion because all of them are Muslims. Have you seen the point that we have? Abe is a Muslim. Efaias almost killed me one day in London because I had just taken a glass of, I and Zenawi had taken a glass of wine. Then we came in the office. The guy almost beat us to the floor. A glass of wine, and we smelled. We are going to have a meeting. The guy walked out of the meeting. So you can imagine, what about when it comes to religion? The three have joined hands. And I told Miriam here on this panel, and all of you who were there with some, I said, it is going to be a disaster. It is too early for Dr. Abe to have shaken the hand of Isaias Efak. The biggest terrorist we still have on the continent, sleeping in a semi-nomadic democracy, is Isaias Efak. If you add that to Mr. Across the Bridge, that's the nickname we should always use for me. Across the Bridge, you add them together, they are giving advice to the young man called Farimajo. Farimajo has grown wings. Farimajo is going to bring a big war. You can call it anything you want. It's grown wings. And two, Miriam, you brought a good point of, do you know what you brought? You brought a good point of the oil. My friend, let's also now, let me put this question to you, Kenyans. Where was Kenya? Where was Kenya when honestly, when these 5 blocks were being floated? Didn't we do a topic on that one sometime here in the media? We did a topic on that. They were floating this thing, and I came out with a statement. I was told I was wrong. It is not them. It's not, those are not. Now it has come out clear that the Lamu Basin, five of them, I can even tell you their numbers, block number, Miriam, the blocks. Let me tell you the blocks, because this is very interesting. It's good you brought it at the end. It's a very, very interesting subject over the oil. I'm reading the blocks. The blocks that have been sold just now, the blocks that have been sold, I've just seen the blocks. Yeah, thank you very much, the panel. 5 out of 15 blocks. Block number 189, 190, 204, 218, and 219. These blocks of oil are located on the Lamu Basin. They belong to Kenyan territorial waters. They went and floated them, 10 of theirs, and added 5. You get the point of Kenya's oil. Now, I think why Miriam says there is confusion in the Ministry of Petroleum is they have found the International Court of Justice going to reprimand them. But in actual sense, the flotation of these oil blocks have taken place. They have closed the website. The money has been paid. Because once the thing goes to the stock exchange medium, where Songa will tell you, the same day, the money hits your account. Someone got the money, closed. So as Kenya fights, let me ask one question, and I leave you, my fellow Kenyan comrades, to answer this for me. Doesn't Kenya have eyes to know that 5 of their blocks have been stolen? It would have been a headline in the end of the year in the Kenyan. So I submit. Maybe I might be a stranger in Genocide, but that is all I can believe. Now we are going ahead, arranging lawyers to go and do which case? When in actual sense, the 5 blocks, they have violated. This is the reason we should have used that Somalia has violated. It must be reprimanded, and we begin afresh. Or we get a force that can reinforce the oil blocks, because we don't know. Tomorrow you'll have a Norwegian company drilling this oil. We might be here when oil is being drilled.
Yes, and Dr. Matsanga, the fact that they are on stock exchange, that automatically means that we have companies who have already taken up the mining rights of resources on those blocks, and
Exactly.
It's a matter of time.
That's it, Miriam. That is the bottom line. We've lost. This is Onyali. This is very disgusting. It is something very pathetic I've never seen. We are here. We are all the time saying this, that. But look, 5 blocks, 2 were taken by this mafia gang in Mogadishu, and they have got the money. They picked the money. Now, before you bring down the website, the money has already reached the account. The Bashir, is it the Bashir? The Habashir. It's gone. They have it in cash. There is no credit card in Mogadishu. It is cash. Either you pay in dollar or nothing, isn't it? There is nothing there like a credit card. It is like a Khartoum. Onyari, you are in Khartoum. If your dollars get finished, that's the end of you. You don't have a credit card in Khartoum.
So
You can't use a credit card in Khartoum. In Somalia, you can't use a credit card. Have you seen the type of theft going on? They have even stolen the oil before we even go to the court. Now we are moving with our suits, hiring professors, professor to talk and eat more money of Kenya. But in actual sense, the oil blocks we are talking of have been sold. 5 of them. Kenya, where was Kenya? I leave it to you, submit that I've done my best. Medium, my mission was to dislodge the small judge who is actually the size of Abdi, a very slim, soft-spoken judge. And he was very tough to dislodge. I dislodged him. I was successful. He's gone, Abdi. He's gone, Onyari. He's gone, Karanja. Gone Wesonga. Gone Kirimi. Miriam. Thank you very much. I did my job.
All right. Thank you so much. And I think we'll just end the show there today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick Mundilo, one of our very consistent viewers here. Thank you so much for watching, Ogebe, Omot, and the rest of you, Fuad Ero. You're wondering why Kenya is only bringing drugs like cat to Somalia. Because there's a market for it over there. That's why the farmers take it there. All right? All right, thank you so much.
Kenya is taking what?
Kenya is just bringing them drugs, the cat, the Mira. But that is because the people there enjoy it.
Yes, because we don't eat. People this side, they don't eat it.
Well, they do, but there are more people who tend to enjoy it perhaps more compared to the rest of us.
Even in London, in Hounslow, you find them, very many of our friends, comrades, in West Ham, comrades, in Streatham, comrades, chewing it. I don't know, I'm told it has, I will speak to Haji at a different time, Musa Abdi Haji, to tell me what is the, and Kirimi. You are from the growing area of cat. So you will tell us more about cat, the medicine it has, maybe to cure us. Thank you very much, Miriam.
All right.
Thank you. Yes, God bless you.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Professor Jared Onyari. Thank you, Musa Abdi Haji. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi, Tanel Wasonga, Jevan Karanja. We meet here tomorrow, God willing, at 9 a.m. For more news across the continent in Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogotu. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.